Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cocktail Hour. Kind of a little southern today. Anyway, so I'm Andy.
Hello, I'm Cheri. Hello.
Hey, this is Colette.
Hey, she's getting with it. She's getting with it.
Well, I mean, there was a nice pregnant pause, so I kind of thought that was probably it.
This is episode 122, so we're very excited to be here. We don't have a high energy level, though. I don't know. It's like maybe carbs at lunchtime, and now we're hitting that, oh my God, we need sugar phase. I don't know. But, we're trying to acclimate to this 4 o'clock afternoon thing because otherwise it works out really well. I'm thinking.
It does.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Maybe it's because we're sober.
That could very well be it because, I was so busy talking to Colette offline that I actually forgot to make a cocktail, and all I have is cherry lime mineral water.
I have nothing. I've run out of. I ran out of bubbly water, and I didn't feel like having any regular water. So my little coaster is empty.
Oh, I love that little coaster. It's so cute.
Oh my God.
You got a new haircut, didn't you?
No, I got it in a ponytail.
Oh, you got it in a ponytail. I was like, oh my God, you got it really short.
No, it's I need to go for a trim, get it shaped up. It's irritating to me right now. So.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Colette, I like your avatar again. I thought about you yesterday or Friday or Thursday. Thought about you at one point last week. The Sirius XM has just unveiled a Beatles channel.
I know. I am excited. Every time I hear the commercial, it's like, yep, but you got another few weeks. And it's like, ah! But yeah, because we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. So that's going to be the beginning of June. I know.
Super old, Thanks.
Well, that's another reason that, good reason for us to take June off. Colette will just be, solidly listening to the Beatles
and dropping acid. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we ought to rethink that, taking June off.
Yeah, but she doesn't. But she doesn't appear. It's only an avatar. I think it would only be fun if she were dropping acid and you could actually see her. I think that would be worthwhile.
Maybe we could get a couple of good last calls out of June.
Right?
My heart, it's so soft. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're really happy that you were able to make the show because I know isn't it Free Comic Book Day today?
Yeah, I went.
Did you? You went?
I did, and I think I posted a picture of outside. It was
I didn't know that line distracted you.
Crazy, stupid busy there.
What did you get?
Well, I have not had a chance to actually go through what I got, because I think there's a limit to 5 per person. So Laura and I went through, and I don't think that we maxed out. We just picked up the stuff that looked interesting. But then you go inside and then you buy stuff because you need to support your local comic book store.
Absolutely.
But it's always kind of fun because you're in line with little kids and they're dressed up as their favorite superhero. And so we were behind a tiny little Wonder Woman who spoke Spanish. She was adorable. And there was this girl who had a dress made out of fabric that was all of the Avengers. Right?
Wow.
So all the Avengers were on her dress, and that was kind of cute. And then this fully grown woman appeared who was wearing a dress that looked like what Han Solo wears in Star Wars.
Like the old Star Wars with that vest and white shirt thing?
Yes. And the blue pants, but it was like a mini dress.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Even had the gun belt for the blaster.
What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Half of what you go for is the experience.
Very cool.
Like little local cosplaying.
Mm-hmm.
Very
right.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. But much less so.
And
you do, so we're all standing on the sidewalk in line, and then all of these sort of waspy looking people are walking by like, what the fuck is going on here? And nobody.
That makes it totally worth it.
It does. Nobody stops to explain it to them. They just look at them like, what?
That's awesome. I love that story.
Excellent. Very nice.
I think we're going to have a good show today. I think Colette's going to be a dampener, maybe.
I think I am.
That seems to be your new role. And
it's certainly not intentional, but I was telling Andy that that she was talking about how much she loved the movie, and then I was seeing posts from you that were like, I am loving this book, and I was like, oh shit, I guess I gotta finish this.
Kiss on our parade.
So let me clue everybody in what we read, and some of us watching the movie. It's The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. So there you go. Just so you know, you're keeping up with us. That's what we're doing.
All right, I will go ahead and read the blurb.
Okay, blurb reading.
Yes, I will read the blurb. Let me see.
Much easier to read the blurb, y'all.
I think the blurb, though. This blurb sucks. Melanie is a very special girl.
Wait, stop.
What?
You can't say the blurb sucks and then just start reading it without us laughing like hyenas over here.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Are you done? Okay. All right. Melanie is a very special girl. Dr. Caldwell calls her our little genius. Every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant keeps his gun pointing at her while two of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. The Girl with All the Gifts is a groundbreaking thriller, emotionally charged and gripping from beginning to end. That's it.
Yeah, it was sucky.
I was kind of crappy. Okay, so, either of you, not you, Colette, because you're going to piss all over it, so.
I'm going to try hard not to.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, so, go ahead.
I would do it justice, but I mean, that's a good kickoff. The little bit of the summary is a really good starter, but it doesn't really tell you what you're really in for. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, it's a zombie, or not as the main characters are zombies. Well, no, that's not true. I'm terrible at summaries. God damn it.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
All right. So it's a zombie novel, but it's not like a general zombie novel that you would expect in the horror genre. And I wouldn't say it's softer or gentler, but it's a different take on it. Mm-hmm. And it's in a very, I think, soon post-apocalyptic time period. I don't think it's way off in the future, if I remember.
Yeah, like maybe 50 years. Do they ever actually come out and say? I mean, you just sort of get little indications of about.
Yeah, they don't really say when they are, but the fungal infection has been going on for at least a couple of decades.
Right. So yeah, the zombies are made zombies by a fungal infection. It's interesting because the ones that get the infection as adults, they're kind of their brains are pretty much gone and they're just eaters. But the younger ones, I don't know if they're born that way or they're very young when they contract the fungus, they mostly keep their brains intact, or at least close to being more close to people that don't have the fungus. So it's really an interesting.
It's generational, right?
It's just interesting how I've never read anything like this, and I've read several zombie books because I really like that genre. But I don't think I've experienced one that was just different than I have.
I think the closest, I think Warm Bodies was kind of close to it, where you have a zombie who's like moderately high functioning and is able to think and reason and communicate.
But he could never remember his name, right? It was just R.
Right.
Like a pirate, Colette. A pirate. R.
Nice.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting about this is the cause of the disease was something that I had read about before, and I'd seen something about before. I can't remember where I heard about it, but it was on some podcast. It's a legit thing, where these fungal spores infect an ant.
Oh, yeah.
It takes over the ant's brain function and just kind of like remote controls the ant to do what it wants to do. It eats the fungus. It goes up to the highest leaves it can get to, whatever. The thing explodes out of its head and rains down spores and more get it. So it was the same function. It was the same fungus as that.
Yeah.
Or maybe a different strain of it. And that's how that happened.
It jumped in evolution to humans.
Yeah. Right. So the whole setup for this particular novel is that these non-infected adults are at this government institution where they have all of these high-functioning infected children that they're basically just studying and dissecting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But so a large part of this book is from the POV of one of the infected zombie children,
Melanie.
which I think makes it unique.
Yeah.
Since it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's sort of the heartless doctor who like literally dissects these children while they're alive.
Yep.
Right.
Which was troubling.
Yes, I agree.
She doesn't think of them as being alive, though.
Right. I mean,
Right.
that's the thing. There's only one or two people who worked at this facility who thought of them as children at all. They were just...
They were hosts.
Right. They were assumed to be how the adult zombie people were, which is those people ceased to be. They have no free will anymore. They have no cognitive function. It's just the parasite that is inhabiting their body.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, it was pretty clear with these kids who have conversational skills and have the ability for rational thought and learning that that's not the case.
Right.
And yet no one seemed to really want to explore that beyond, well, what if we cut off his head and take a look at it?
Yeah.
I think, and I agree with you. It was very troubling for Caldwell. Her big thing was, well, getting fame and also finding a cure, which, I mean, I get that, but it was horrific that, that this doctor, the scientist is, they can't anesthetize the kids because they don't have anything at this base that can knock them out. So
for any length of time. Remember, it was like their body absorbs or whatever. So if they use anything, it might have a 30-second to a minute where it works, and then it stopped working. I
got that from the movie, but I didn't remember reading that in the book. But I mean, I was doing the audiobook while I was doing other things, so I may have missed that part.
No, regarding hearing it, I was reading the book. I just don't. Yeah, when you watch the movie twice and you read the book once, sometimes things start to blend in a little bit. Just
yeah. I mean, Caldwell was an evil, horrible person.
I agree, but let's just let our viewers know that at some point early on in the book, the compound is compromised. So there is a handful of people that escape in some kind of Humvee kind of vehicle. And one of them is the doctor Caldwell that Cheri's talking about, Melanie, which is the highest functioning of the children with the fungal infection, the psychologist teacher, Helen Justino, which I'm sure Cheri's going to just eat that one up, and Sergeant Parks, and there was a couple of other people.
Private Gallagher, I think, was the only other one. I don't think there was anybody else in there. I think so.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a survival story with all these people as they try to figure out, how the hell they can either get get to another base or get to a place of safety among a world that's basically full of these what they call hungries.
Which I hated that. I hated
yeah.
that so bad.
I'm glad
What a
it
shitty name.
It was, but I mean, I'm glad it wasn't just zombie, And then they had the survivalists. What do they call them?
The junkers.
The junkers. So it's actually a very interesting survival story, and I think that's where I liked it the most was after they got out of the compound. So now, in perspective, I think knowing that stupid ass Caldwell goes, you get her from a clinical standpoint and how she can, box this up where her humanity takes a back seat to her wanting to find this cure or get fame and whatever, and how she relates to these folks as a group, and it's actually kind of interesting.
Go ahead, Colette.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, that's a common dichotomy that if you're going to be a scientist and you're going to have to do experiments on any living thing, you really kind of have to set that living thing and its feelings aside. But I don't know. To me, it didn't make much sense that the scientist, even from a scientific perspective, couldn't see that these children were different and couldn't do something to investigate that more scientifically than just, well, what if I take your skin off?
Well, but I don't think she was doing that, though. I mean, she was really most concerned.
Those two kids disappeared. She disappeared them, and there were only parts of them.
Yeah, but her big function, her big thing was their brains, right? I mean, that when they got to that mobile thing, that's what she was the most excited about, because she could finally have. Oh, you got to be shitting me! Hold on, Windows wants to reboot my computer to take care of my.
Oh no! Tell it no.
Okay.
No.
So I'm gonna pick tomorrow. That would be awesome.
Good.
That's awesome. Thanks. Okay, go away. Wow. So if I suddenly disappear, Windows has decided,
we'll just hear do.
Right. So so when her big thing was the brain, and I get why so the way that this. There's no cure there's no stopping this fungal, in fact, this fungus, right? There's no way to stop it. So she has to find a way to get a cure or some sort of antidote or something. And how else would she do that? I mean, I know I'm not trying to. She
doesn't even understand how it works in these children's bodies and why it's different for them than it is for adult hosts.
Yeah, but how would she do that without examining the aspects of the body that are affected by it?
I don't know, because I never got the sense that she examined their bodies when they weren't in pieces.
But she did, because that was the whole purpose of. Because Helen. What did you say? Miss Justino if you're nasty?
Justino if you're nasty.
I mean, Helen, they talked about that, how she, why aren't you paying attention to my reports? And she just didn't care. So for her, there was it didn't matter how high functioning they were, because if everybody else dies, what's the point of I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
That's fine. But they certainly did not make her a very sympathetic character.
No, she was a horrible human being on every level.
Every level.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that Glenn Close played her in the film.
Yeah, she did a good job of being a horrible person.
She did. She did a very good job.
Super selfish. Mm. She did a good job of portraying that role. One thing about about the movie, and I don't want to get too much into it just yet, but I was really happy with the diversity of the casting, and with the book too, the strong women character, the strong, female characters. That was nice to see.
Yeah, that was nice.
And the Junkers were completely absent in the film.
Yeah, that's true. But you didn't get to see much of them in the novel either. They were there, periphery, but I don't think they mentioned them once in the film.
No, they didn't. They never mentioned them at all. Colette, did you watch the movie?
I did not. So then what was the trick? Because in the book, the trigger...
There was no trick. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, the trigger to how the compound gets compromised was the Junkers.
The zombies overran it. And then, and that was something I didn't like at all, is they had, in the movie, they had the zombies overran the fences and compromised the base. Yeah. And then Melanie, in the book, it made a lot more sense. Melanie jumped up. Melanie has this huge crush on Helen Justineau. We should do that first, right? Like, she loves her more than anything in the entire world. Yep. Her entire existence essentially has been locked in a cell, never touched, never any sort of kindness or anything. Anybody that she sees is wary of her and suspicious and ready to defend themselves against her. So you have this teacher who's she's some sort of psychologist, I don't remember, and she's there to study the kids about their reactions, how they process information, how they learn, and that was one of the things that Glenn Close said in the film that I don't remember being in the book, was that she had said something about, they're just mimicking. They're not actually thinking, they're just mimicking. Yeah. But it was clear that was ridiculous, because of course
exactly.
There was no way. These were thinking, intelligent kids. And Melanie in particular,
Melanie was higher. Yeah. Higher up
the intelligence chain. She was a super inquisitive, smart, logical little kid, 10-year-old little kid.
Yep.
Who basically acted and thought and processed things like an adult.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, but she was never treated like a child.
No.
Well, she wasn't ever treated like a human. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she was around humans, and it wasn't like she was out raised in the wilderness. She still was able to see and hear, even when she wasn't engaged in conversation, she would still be observing and things like that, right? So, I mean, she never experienced love or kindness or anything like that directed toward her, but she would still observe all of those things.
Yeah, but I think Justineau gave her, though, I think Justineau treated her like a child, whereas everybody else treated her like something,
an animal.
Or an animal, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that helped with her big crush on Justineau.
Oh yeah, that was all of that. Yeah, she was everything. So in the book, when the base is overrun, Melanie comes to Helen's rescue because she's about to be attacked by these Junkers, and Melanie's like, "Arr!" and she rips into him and gets essentially her first taste of flesh, because they eat grubs and shit, and they eat grubs, which they did carry over into the movie, which was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So she gets this first taste of human flesh, and with the Junkers. So in the movie, they had her attack these two soldiers instead.
Yeah,
they were like firing, and Helen was in a crossfire or some shit. I didn't like that at all, because it was a moral. It changed the moral stature of Melanie's character, I felt.
Yeah, because the soldiers weren't putting Helen in jeopardy.
Mhm.
So I think that was what bothered me about the film translating the book. Because it would make sense if Melanie, because there's no reasons the soldiers should turn on Helen, but it would make sense that the Junkers would be trying to attack Helen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
or the Hungaries were trying to get her.
Well, I mean, they should have just used Gallagher and maybe some of the other kind of gross, pervy, openly heterosexual aspects that they dwelt on in the book. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have.
I am not a man hater by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm curious about the author because this book did not frame men in a very positive light at all. Like,
I don't
even
know. I know the author's a dude. That's all I know.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I mean, initially I thought that Sergeant Parks was going to be, this hardcore G.I. Joe kind of asshole who was going to have to make some tough decisions and potential. I mean, he's the guy that was like, put the kid outside the vehicle.
Mhm.
We'll chain her to the front. And Gallagher seemed like he was going to be, maybe a little bit more human. But, when we get to the part where he was like, he could barely muster the energy to masturbate. It was like, really?
Yeah,
Really? You guys are running for your fucking lives? You're in a Humvee with a bunch of women and a zombie child, and really you're upset because you can't rub one out right now?
But he did maintain his humanity, and at the end, when
he was excited by all that old pornography.
No, after that, when the children were eating him and he didn't want to hurt them.
If he had not succumbed to the pornography trap, he might still be alive.
I don't know. I got to tell you, if I was in that store I probably would have went over to the pornography too. I'm just putting that out there. But, I wouldn't have thought about rubbing one out.
I would have shot that little bitch right
Oh, no, let's just stop right there. I would have what?
Shot that little bitch right in the head.
I know, right?
Which bitch?
The one that
came up with
one that confronted him in the
Oh,
store.
the one that was like, I have a rat.
That one.
Yummy, tasty rat.
Num, num, num.
Right in the forehead. Boop, right between the eyes. Right
Yeah,
there.
I don't get it. I don't... Kill those kids.
She's not talking. She's grunting. She's and waving the rat. I'm thinking, oh hell no! Click. That'd have been it.
Well,
Yeah.
except that dude never reloaded his gun anyway. So.
Yeah, what a dumbass.
Yeah, but he had the grenade in his pocket. Who cares if they know what it is? Pull the pin and be done with it.
Especially when they're eating you.
That's what I was thinking too.
There's no chance that you're not going to be a zombie. They're chomping on you or whatever the hell, right? You're going to get that fungus. Pull the pin and release the grip.
He did not make good life choices.
No, he did not. But it seemed like he didn't make good life choices at all. And that was a big thing in the book too, is, poor me, my family sucks and they're all horrible. And well, I'll save all the zombie kids because I didn't have a chance.
Bullshit.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, so I hope while he was laying there on his back with his cab slit open and they were all chewing on him, he was like, I am saving you.
He was. That's what he
just shout that over and over again at them, even though they didn't speak English because they had no language skills.
But you're right.
They didn't. Yep.
You're right on par with that. Yep. Absolutely.
I killed all those kids. Fuck those kids.
He didn't have enough ammo to kill those kids.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. If he had taken one of them bitches out, even with a knife in the head, whatever, the other ones might have backed off.
That's what I was thinking too. It's like, well, they don't know what a gun is. Well, blow one of their heads off. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, or like I said, big old hunter knife, boop, right in the head.
I would not have missed the child who had filed down his teeth.
Oh yeah, right. Right. Okay, so we skipped a bunch of stuff.
got right to the restaurant.
So while the base is being overrun, Melanie has been selected by the evil Dr. Caldwell to be dissected, right? So she's laying on the table naked.
Oh, wait. They're back at the compound. Did you say that?
Huh? We're rolling all the way back.
We're like starting from the beginning.
Yeah. We've gone all the way back because there's something else important that happens. Is Dr. Caldwell, when the base is overrun, Dr. Caldwell's like, fuck it, we'll just make shit happen here. Put down the window security things and when does Helen breaks in before that with this with a fire extinguisher, and she's like, get away from her, you bitch.
Right. She has a little Sigourney Weaver moment.
She does. Get away from her. She will not cut her up. You will not take her brain out. This is not happening. And Caldwell's like, science, in the name of science, I have to cut the girl's head off. So Helen steps in, and that's not happening. And then the base is getting overrun, and zombies start coming into the theater, and her cohort, Dr. Single something, Sibyl, I don't remember what her name is, start with an S. She gets eaten up, and they get Melanie out, and that's when all the shit happens. But Dr. Caldwell grabs a piece of glass and starts hacking at somebody, and cuts her hands all up, right? So once they get out, it is revealed that, you think that maybe she's got the zombie disease, but she doesn't. She's got blood poisoning, so she's gonna die anyway, one way or the other. She's gonna die.
But not right away. She is going to live so long that you just want her to just get in front of the Humvee and just take one for the team.
She's a horrible person. Just really a horrible person.
I also most of the scenes that were from her POV were so scientific that I found myself just completely glazing over.
I can see you doing this number.
Yeah, exactly. But using the medulla oblongata, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, Jesus, this is like being back at college. I don't give a shit about this. I hope you are trying to impart some very critical information to me, because otherwise I'm going to be so pissed. And the answer is no.
No,
not imparting any critical information.
No, not at all. No, didn't even know any of that.
No, I don't even know if the scenes from her POV were necessary.
It kind of reinforced the clinical thought patterns of her character. Maybe I don't think it would have. I don't think it was done for a sympathy kind of aspect.
Well, if it was, it failed.
Yeah, it did give some insight that she wasn't just a horrible human being, even though she was. But in her mind, she wasn't a horrible human being. She really was trying to do something to achieve.
Yeah, for humanity.
Right. And for herself, she wanted, they had kicked her off of the team 20 years before, she didn't get where she wanted to be. She got stuck out at this base that had substandard equipment. She couldn't do all the stuff she wanted to do. So, she's kind of bitter and really, thinks that she should have been the one. And that, I think that really drives her, in addition to, finding the cure and what have you. But I think even more than that, I think she just really felt like she was the one who was supposed to do all of this, and she needed to prove to, whoever didn't think that she could, that they were wrong.
Yeah, it was all about redemption.
Yeah, but she's still a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I really liked was how, we talked about how Melanie had this big crush on Helen, and one of the things that that the movie I don't think did a good job of at all was discussing how Melanie was so concerned with making sure that Helen never saw her as one of the Hungries. She didn't want Helen to see her transform into this flesh-eating beast. It was, she went as far as to have Sergeant Parks put her out and not tell Helen because she didn't want her to see her or think about her when she came back. She didn't want Helen to be the one that went out and let her back in. She really wanted to maintain the idea that she was a human child. She didn't want Helen to see her like that.
I think the
Are you not remembering that, Andy?
Yeah, the book definitely was. The film did not do the book justice in that regard. The only thing I can remember though is that the two scenes where Melanie was in the wheelchair and Justino was trying to undo the straps because Melanie was being punished and left in the chair. And her E-blocker, which is this gel that the humans put on themselves so that the zombies can't smell them. Apparently the E-blocker had worn off to a degree where Melanie could smell Helen. And she started getting the little jaw quirk where she was getting hungry. And she like, oh, I don't go, leave, go away. And Helen finally figured out what the hell was going on, runs her ass out of the cell. That's the closest really that they came to try and show that Melanie did not want Helen to see her as anything other than a human child. And the other thing in the film when Melanie wound up being hungry and she knew she had to eat, and then she came back and she had blood on her shirt, and you could see that there was a degree of sadness, I think, on Melanie's face when Helen saw her at that point. But I mean, that's the closest they came to trying to mirror the book.
Yeah. I think in the book I felt like they really made a point of making sure that Melanie wanted to maintain that separation there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So Colette, besides the evil Dr. Caldwell and the kind of shitty man, what did you have other issues with it?
I don't know. When we got to the end, it felt a little tropish to me.
I didn't really. Yeah, actually the whole. I mean, I get why she would have done that. What she does at the end, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's that as well. But I mean, for me, just the last, I don't know, maybe 5 chapters or so where, most people are dead now. And we have 2 final characters, a man and a woman. And it's like, oh, well, they're going to have to fuck. And so they did. And that just, I was like, really? Okay, whatever.
I gotta say, in the movie, they didn't do that, and I was happy that they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't.
There was no aspects of that in the movie at all. There was no, like, in the book, there's that growing respect and kind of, I don't
see, that would have been nice. That would have been nice in the book. To me, it just felt like, oh, well, okay. I guess you felt like you had to go there with that.
Because he finally treated Melanie as a child instead of an animal. So she kisses him. I didn't care for any of that. That felt stupid to me. You know what? Have respect for the guy. That's awesome. Be his friend. That's also awesome. But you're not attracted to him. She hadn't been attracted to him in any way, shape, or form throughout. And then all of a sudden, oh, we're all lonely. I'll give him a kiss. Oh, that was nice. Now I'll fuck him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, a matter of time before the zombie children come and eat us. Would you like a hand job? I That's kind of how it felt to me.
Oh,
I've got some tea also.
So wrong. So wrong.
Biscuit, thanks.
So wrong. You're right. I like that.
Yeah, but you know, that leaves that open because, you know, so at the big thing with the generational thing, right, is that and I think they talked about, I don't know if they talked about it in the book or not, I don't recall. In the movie, they talked about the symbiotic relationship between the fungus and the human. Yeah, they talked about that in the book too, I'm sure.
They did, yeah. I had to think about that for a minute. Yeah, they did.
So in the first generation, once the fungal spores hit you, it ravages your brain, just like Andy said, and you're just you are a tool of the fungus. What they discovered was that some of the drives are still alive in the Hungries. God, I hate that. It sounds like they let a 3-year-old name the disease. We found the hungry antigen. Shut up. No, it's not the Hungries. So
See, they should have called them the nom noms.
The nom. There you go.
Okay. So apparently the nom noms can still breed at some point. You know, at some, I don't know, but that's what they said, right? That there was the drive. So
well, because they saw that one, and she was still pushing a baby carriage, and
right,
you know,
right, yep. So so the second generation, which is what Melanie and the other children that were at the base were, they have more of a symbiotic relationship with the fungus. The fungus provides them with certain abilities and talents, and the children, you know, are still able to function and gain a bit more of their humanity. So the thinking was then that as the generations progress, the more humanity that will, you know, will remain with the kids.
Evolve. Right.
So there was some line like, you know, we'll never be the same humanity, but we'll have something. It'll be a new humanity.
Right.
So in the movie, I was just scratching my head at the very end. You know, Melanie kind of sets off spores and is just, you know, it's going to catch on the wind, and the entire world is going to be infected. And I was just like, okay, I know that there's a reason for this, and I just don't really know what the hell's going on. In the book, thank goodness, they really spelled it out. Like, why do you do that, Melanie? Because she's kickstarting the cure, essentially, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Except Helen is in this airtight thing, so she's like the last human, and I just don't get.
She's inside Rosie, so now she is the anomaly, right?
Right. I mean, I get that. Yeah. I mean, I get that there's the switch around. Now all the kids are on the outside learning, and she's in the cell. But what a horrible existence that's going to be.
Right. And then they're just going to use her to teach these non-verbal second generation zombie children about, you know, Proust and calculus
and the Greek myths. You know, that was the big one, the Greek myths. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Hello?
Yeah. Laura has taken it and fled from the room.
Yay! Yay, Roman Slayer! Yay.
Roman Slayer.
I liked the movie up until the end. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't really.
You know what I really liked?
The book too. I mean, I'm sorry, the book too. I just.
You know, did we mention there were spoilers?
Nah, we're always.
Oh, hey, there's spoilers.
You know what I really, really liked about the movie more than the book was the fact that Melanie in the movie was a 10, 11-year-old child of color, where in the book, she's like a blonde hair, blue eye white girl. And I thought it worked so much better in the film.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Helen Justineau is a very dark-skinned woman.
Mm-hmm.
So they reversed it. They had in the movie, Helen Justineau's a white woman.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed that. And in the movie, Private Gallagher was a black man.
Yep.
A bunch of the other soldiers were black. I saw some Asian guys in there, a lot of women.
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was a
lot.
great thing.
Yep. Yep. I just thought it worked better. And I think I don't remember, in the book, Melanie got her head shaved, I think, in preparation for the surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
So she had like this bristly bald head thing going on. And that wasn't the case with the Melanie in the film.
Well, they never got that. They
didn't get that far.
Yeah,
right.
in the book, they stripped her down naked because she goes on about how she had never been naked before and how.
Yeah, but I thought in the books they're naked all the time.
No. I don't think so.
The kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're naked almost all the time. Remember when they come across the clothes?
So because when they put her on the table.
When they come across the clothing, when they are on their move, right? They find children's clothing in an abandoned house, and it's a big deal because she has never really worn clothing before.
No, I don't think that was what it was, because they had zippers, because she said that she's never had a zipper or anything like that before.
Now, I would have to go back and look at that, because I remember thinking, wow, they keep these kids naked all the time? That is crazy.
I don't think so, because when she was on the table, she really went on about how she didn't spend any time naked, and that she really did not like the feel of it.
In the movie or in the book?
No, in the book.
In the book. Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the clothing issue was because I remember when I watched the movie, I remember that paying attention to the clothes, and they only had like pull-on sweatshirts like this and Crocs, like Croc type shoes, just slip-on shoes. And when they were putting her into the clothes, they were sneakers that had ties on them, and I remember her talking about the zipper. And she had never had to use a zipper or anything like that before. And in the movie, she never said anything. She just went and got dressed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like, oh, cool. I like these clothes. These are awesome. I'm going to go. Oh, no, that's not true, because they had Velcro
on the shoes, right?
In the movie. And she kept pulling on the Velcro. And
right. Yeah. And then she went and ate a cat or something and got blood all over herself.
I couldn't understand that. Why are you going to put your new clothes on when you're going out to eat? And, she's gone for 5 minutes. She eats that cat, just like she did in the book. She eats the cat, and all I could think of is, oh, she's eating some pussy. But she's also only 10, so it's completely inappropriate.
You're all dressed up, fine dining.
So she put on her nice clothes, and then she goes out to eat, and she's covered from head to toe in blood. It was really gross and disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty gross and disgusting. And I liked it.
All right, well, I really did enjoy the book. I enjoyed some parts more than others. I think the part that I enjoyed the most is kind of the opposite of what Andy liked. I really liked when they were in the compound and learning about how and seeing the world from Melanie's point of view as being locked up, and how she experiences that, how she experiences the other the adults around her. She never, they got these guns on her, and they're calling her bad names and things like that, and she's just like, hi, how you doing?
Good morning, Sergeant Parks. Good morning, Miss Justineau.
Yeah, she was just kind of, I couldn't imagine being that happy and not that she was, joyful all the time or anything, but she wasn't sad either. It was the only thing that she knew.
Yeah, and she was killing him with kindness.
Yeah, and no matter, yeah, it was just, I really found that part really interesting, and I enjoyed Helen's POV while they were in there. Once they moved out into the world, the tone shifts quite a bit, and it was much more action packed and things were going on, which was fun, but it was really different. And I didn't enjoy that quite as much. I still had fun with it. I mean, it wasn't like a serious book or anything. It was fun. I found it to be a fun read.
Yeah, there wasn't, yeah.
Nobody used anybody else's toilet.
Yes, thank God, because there were no toilets.
There were no toilets.
Everyone.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, that's right. That's one of the things that they talk about is, Melanie never had any evacuations. She never drank water. Because everything that the fungus needed from her, she got from the meat, from the grubs or from whatever meat that she was eating.
Whatever she pounced on.
Exactly. So, that was part of that symbiotic relationship, and that everything, every single bit of intake that she had.
Yep.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like the movie as much as I liked the book. I still enjoyed the movie. I'd probably watch it again just to pick more stuff up, I guess.
Yeah, and to see Miss Justino.
She's been in lots of other things too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If we were going to play the game, I would have to say I would pick Helen. Obviously,
well, who else would you pick?
There really isn't anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah, she's the only person who lives. So.
I mean, we could pick pre-infection Dr. Caldwell, but she's
no. That rancid bitch. No way. Nope.
Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I did too. I enjoyed it a lot. I did.
Okay.
Okay, give it to us straight. Come on.
Well, I told you what I thought. I was hoping that at some point it was going to grab me and that it was just slow getting off the ground, but that never happened. So, I was never really engaged with the story. So then as other things would happen, I'd be like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Once you get to that point, then it's kind of like, but I was engaged almost immediately.
Yeah, me too.
And it kind of
it sounds like you were like super into the initial compound setting.
Yeah.
Which I thought was horrible.
You went into it with much more of a humanity,
I think
compassionate view, and I went into it thinking, okay, these are little zombie people, and
I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, I think strike one for me was probably that the majority of this book is from the POV of a child, and children are terrible. So that's already probably a story that is not going to grab me, because that is not a group of people that I want to spend any kind of time with.
Oh, you're going to have that. Oh, man.
You never know what Colette's going to say. Never.
Well, I mean, all I can tell you is I did not enjoy spending time with them when I was one. I certainly don't enjoy spending time with them now that I am not.
No, That's fair. So, Andy, I wanted to ask you just really quickly.
Yeah.
I had suggested a book to you, and I hadn't heard anything else about it, so I'm assuming that it did not grab you, and you immediately put it away.
I'm trying to think. Wait. You did. What did I?
I wanted to suggest it to Colette, but it features children, so.
Well, it features them, like how? I mean, it's like some books, it's okay that there are children there because they are not the main protagonist.
Oh no, she is the main protagonist. She is super badass, and it takes place in I think like the 1400s in Russia, but you don't really know what type. It's medieval Russia, and it has a lot of mythology and gods. And
oh no.
Andy's the only person that I know that did not think that this was just fantastic. I've had 3 or 4 other people either reading it or have read it, and they absolutely loved it. It's called The Bear and the Nightingale. You didn't really like Neil Gaiman either.
No, I don't care for Neil, and I don't know if I'm going to stick with American Gods on Stars either.
Okay, but
did you start watching that?
I watched the first episode.
It's just the one episode. I think there's another one tomorrow. I liked it a lot, but I really liked Neil Gaiman. If you enjoy Neil Gaiman, this book would, I think you would enjoy. If you enjoyed American Gods, I think that you would enjoy The Bear and the Nightingale. I just really liked it a lot. The young woman, she's a teenager. I think she's 14.
Okay.
I think she's 14. But 14 in medieval times is a lot different.
Yeah, that's like an adult.
Yeah,
it's like 35. They only
right. So I mean, you've got
10 more years.
Right, you've got an evil stepmother. You've got the great battle between good and evil. You've got the battle between the old gods, the heathen gods, the god of the, you got your little house spirits and things like that against the Catholic Church or the I don't know, so one of the Christian churches. I don't know if it was, no, it wasn't the Catholic Church. It was something else. But and then you've got the czars in there. It was really, really good. And if you do the audiobook, the narrator, I thought, did a really good job. Initially, I had to rewind a little bit because some of the names I didn't get. But it doesn't really matter because you get them eventually. But if anybody else is a fan of Neil Gaiman and looking for that kind of a story, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And everybody that I know that's read it, except for Andy, also does. But you have different tastes in that. And then when I suggested it to you, I even said, I don't know if you'll like this. I never know with you. Yeah, I'm never sure with you. You surprise me all the time. So I just keep suggesting things to you, and you're just like, okay, I tried it no, I don't like it. I'm putting it away.
I appreciate you. Keep trying. Don't give up.
You don't hurt my feelings. It's fine. I'm just going to keep throwing them out there.
Yep, I appreciate that.
All right.
Wow, we're like on time. This is awesome.
Know.
So no more zombie movies or books for Colette.
Yeah, we'll figure something else out. We're not doing.
Well,
we're
I don't know that it is the zombie genre in general. Although, granted, that is probably not. That's not probably in my top 5 settings. Would be like, ooh, undead that feast on the living. But that doesn't mean that there can't be good zombie fiction out there that I like.
Yeah,
but you might need to have some other components.
And not
besides,
kids.
Well, I mean, the kids can be there, but
only if they're being eaten.
I mean, that would be all right.
Did you read or watch the film Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies?
No.
Mm-mm.
Do you recommend it?
Do you like a little Jane Austen?
I do.
It's remarkably more Pride and Prejudice than it is zombies. But trust me, there are zombies in there. The film part, I did the audiobook and I don't remember it much. But the film really stood out because they had some really good characters in there. But the film especially is like 80% Pride and Prejudice and then 20% zombies.
Well, I mean, to me, it seems like an odd amalgam since Jane Austen, is typically so understated with her, and I'm going to subtly lampoon the manners of blah, 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 and Lord such and such, and snicker, snicker, snicker. So to have, like, zombies come in and eat people's brains just seems like an odd duality.
You should watch the movie.
All right.
We have some comments.
We have some comments. You have dogs.
I do. I know. I'm sorry. The dogs. Somebody is walking past. I have no control over the dogs at this point.
All right.
So McKenna said, I'm glad I caught your show today. I'm going to watch the movie tonight.
Yay!
Hope you enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Let us know, by the way. Let us know how you enjoy the movie.
Oh, yep. Cheryl Hansen says, just saying hi, I'm glad you're done discussing zombies.
Hi, Cheryl. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
And then McKenna said, I love Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
See? I think McKenna's recommending you see that as well. Give it a shot.
All right. Well, maybe I'll add that to Netflix, and we'll see what happens with that. But
Right.
I mean, Did you see the Lincoln?
I fell asleep
Vampire
before
Slayer thing. Like that's basically the same kind of thing, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Lincoln,
the one about Abraham
Vampire
Lincoln,
Hunter?
Vampire
Oh,
Hunter.
right, Vampire Hunter, or whatever the hell it was.
Everybody said that was like a steaming turd.
I fell asleep. I didn't enjoy it very much.
It's just like anything else. If you're in the mood for Dr. Thorne, don't watch Captain America. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of be in the mood for that kind of film. I mean, it's tongue in cheek, you're going to roll your eyes or whatever. I mean, it's improbability of some of the damn scenes where they're doing these fucking calisthenics that no human being could ever do ever. But for what it is, I thought it was a rollicking good time. Now, would I say it's the best film ever or even in the top 100? No.
No, those are just fun movies.
They're just fun, stupid, mindless,
ridiculous.
Fun. That's what they are.
Exactly.
That's what they are. And Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is in the same kind of genre. I mean, it's just it's the Pride and Prejudice core, but then they throw all this silly shit about hierarchy and zombies and the war, zombie war. And, there's a little bit of calisthenics. The sisters aren't just looking for a man. They're actually out there to kick some zombie ass too. So, I mean, it's fun for what it is. It's fun, but don't expect to see Downton Abbey because it's not going to It's not. So, as I said, if you're in the mood for, Downton Abbey, don't watch Spider-Man. You're not going to like
it. That's a good advice. I think we're about out of time, but so we're not having a June show.
Probably not.
So maybe we get a little audience participation in suggesting books for our July show.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so. We haven't given anything away in a long time, and we haven't given any cocktail hour stuff away in a long time.
Do we
Somebody write this down because I'm not going to remember, and I didn't bring a pen or any paper. So once I get the show posted, you can do it either here. You can do it either on YouTube if you're watching now and you want to put down some suggestions, or on the cocktailhour.us website. For this show, leave some comments with some books that you might want us to read and discuss. If you're an author and you put your own book on there, it automatically disqualifies you. We will not read your book, and we will probably pick on you for doing that. So,
yeah, probably, because we're
unless you're Stephen King or something like that, then
that's true. Yeah, we might
be able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. But and we reserve the right to pick absolutely none of the books that are suggested.
That's true too.
We have to read them. And we have to buy them. So, there you go.
All right, yay.
Okay.
I had a good time. You guys have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of our show. We will not be here in June. Probably not. We're 99% sure we're not.
Let's just call it. We're not going to be here in June.
We're not going to be here in June. So keep post. We'll post you on when we're having our show in July. We haven't figured that out yet, and obviously, hopefully, you'll be helping us pick the book for July. And I think we're outie.
Oh, and we'll give you something. If we do pick a book that you suggest, we'll send you something that says cocktail hour on it.
Something to be determined.
Yes. All right then.
Yay. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.